Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate taking out your time to join this webinar. We promise to be insightful and interesting as we have a seasoned professional that will do justice to the topic today. I'm sure we are all aware of the topic today. Well, a little introduction. My name is Yetunde Salawu. I'm an HRBP and a talent acquisition specialist. I am just passionate about talent acquisition and talent management in general. I have on this webinar with me our lead speaker, Titilope Akerele, popularly known as Titi. Titi is a seasoned professional with ample years of experience around the wide range of the HR tech space, the HR ecosystem. She's built a solid career in human resource management. She's an experienced talent acquisitions, talent retention, employee engagement, performance management, and a lot around HR. She has experience across employers branding as well and providing a quality candidate experience. Thank you very much, Titi, for joining us. Can you just say hi to our participants?
Hi, thank you for having me.
So we want to say a big thank you for our sponsor for this webinar, Raynest. Raynest is a borderless hiring and payroll platform for companies globally if you intend to hire across various regions and countries. They actually operate about 50 currencies and allow smooth onboarding and hiring process. So without wasting much of our time, let's go into today's topic. Our topic today is African talents, scarcity and opportunities. So Titilope, or should I call you Titi?
It is fine.
Okay, thank you very much. So Titi, how would you best describe talent shortage?
So thank you once again for having me here. Yetunde, everyone else. Thank you for being here. We're not a lot. So I don't know if we maybe can create the opportunity for other people to share as well. I'm not a all knowing something, so even me too, I'm learning, but I'm just here to share the little that I know. And if at any point anyone feels inspired to share more, I mean, let me too take something away from here. I really appreciate that. So yeah, in regards to your question, Yetunde, you asked how I would explain what talent shortage is. So for me, like, this is when like employers are unable to fill a role. So either because the skill sets that is required for the particular position they are trying to fill is hard for them to find it. Based on that, this is when we will go out there and say, hey, there's a shortage in talent, because we all know that there's a ton of people who graduate I wouldn't even say every year, almost every other month, right? Every quarter, like there's a ton of people that come out as graduates. They have the education, right? So in their mind, the next thing is to get a job. But then some employers are out there saying, hey, I can't find talent. While there's so many unemployed and underemployed human beings. So for us as employers, what we call a talent shortage is the fact that we have a role that requires specific skill sets to fill, but we can't find, people in the market to fill that role. We can't find people with that skill to fill the role.
Thank you very much for that. That's certainly true, because a report from IFC stated that in Africa, about 5 countries just has just 50% of the developers. I'm looking at software developers right now, talents. And these countries include South Africa. I'm calling out them in terms of their highest numbers: South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, Kenya, and Morocco. So you can imagine just 5 of these countries have 50% of the software developers needed, of which we need more. When states like California, with a population of 36 million, has about 630 developers. you could see the discrepancies in this.
Yeah.
So this will bring me to my next question, Titi. Why has this become, shall I say, rampant in the world right now? Why is this talent shortage being so much? Why can't we see it in our today's economy and world so much? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Before I answer that, I want to make a comment based on what you said about, the percentage in the African market versus in like a place like California in the USA. I just lost my train of thought. Okay, I'll probably come back to that. So let me answer
you could come back to that.
Question. Great. So
Yes.
I'll answer your actual question. So why is it rampant now? For those people who are not really familiar with, I guess, how the world works, or this whole industrial revolution, right? We're actually in the fourth. And what this means is we are in the tech era, right? So why is it rampant now? It wasn't rampant before. And we're at that point, or we're in that era now where the thing that pretty much rules us is technology, right? So this is when the era of, artificial intelligence, robotics, engineering of different sorts, if it's genetic engineering, if it's, software development, things like that. We are in that space. And because we are in that space, this is why we see the need to have people who can fill roles or who have the skills to be able to do the jobs that are required for the, era and the industry we're in. In regards to, now going back to what I wanted to say before about California and then Africa and things like that, I would say the developed world has understood this and using it, working towards that future, right? They see that, okay, this is coming, and instead of waiting for it to come first, they are preparing for that. They've prepared for that. So they've started developing talent to be able to fill these roles and have these skills. But we in Africa, we're like, we'll just wait for, something to happen. And then we're like, okay, now we're waking up because now you're asking. So on our end, what we should be doing is, because we know these things are going to come regardless, we can't stop it. We're supposed to be equipping ourselves so that we are not at the tail end any longer. We're at par with the rest of, the world.
Thank you. So having said this, we have a lot of employers within the show in Africa, country, Nigeria. They are, like you mentioned, shortage when you need a certain skill and you can't get a skill in the market within the time frame needed to fill it. But they have been facing this huge shortage over a couple of years now. So how do you best feel that this talent shortage can be overcome?
If only I was the HR for every single company in the world. Okay, no, I don't have all the answers. That's actually what I should have said instead of the joke I made earlier. I don't have all the answers, but there are a few things that we can do if we just make that conscious effort. For some of us, we do have talent in our different organizations. We want more, but at least we have some. So what are we doing with the sum that we have in our organization, right? Because retention is also another problem. In the event that we do get talent, they will not stay forever. So how can we keep them? How can we spread, whatever skill or, create that opportunity for the rest of us so that if those ones leave, there are people that, easily can take over some kind of succession planning. How can we do all of these things? There are a few things we can at least put in place, might not cost too much, might make the work easier for us, might be pretty much simple to implement in the next few months. One thing we can definitely do is within our organizations, if we can try and create a ownership mindset. What this means is let people feel like, whatever it is that the business is trying to achieve, they are part of it, right? They're part of this vision. There's this funny thing that sometimes I like to tell people, it's not your father's company, right? So because people sometimes think, it's not my father's company, let me just collect my salary and go. Employers need to encourage the employees to have an ownership mindset. Take the business as it's part of yours, because at the end of the day, if you take it that way, you are improving yourself, you are building yourself for whatever next is coming, whether you are starting up the next fintech or next company, or you're going somewhere else, to expand your scope, right? Because where you're coming from, maybe there's a bit of limits, right, to what you can do. So as employers, we should try to create this ownership mindset, get to know our people better, even the audience, right? Even before we hire those passive or active candidates, get to know them better so that when they do come in, we know how to take care of them. We know how to infuse, the ownership mindset within them. We should also be okay with hiring for potential and not always 100% skill. We already know that there's a shortage of talent. We know a lot of people don't have all of the skills required to do all of the roles we probably want to fill. So for that reason, we should be open to hiring for potential. What this simply means is that you speak to some candidates, they don't tick all of your boxes, but you can tell that, if you just show them how it's done, they might be able to figure it out, or they might even be able to bring new things to the table. We should be open to that, give them that opportunity to come into the company. Because sometimes when you find 100% skill, that person now starts feeling like on their own, I can do more than this, I'm restricted, right? But if you get someone who can't do everything, the person is looking forward to doing those things that you actually want to be done. So let's try and encourage that. So in this case, we're hiring for the value that they will bring in, and then we can train them for the skill that we require them to do. A lot of businesses nowadays, very fast paced. We want everything to be done overnight, right? We want to ship everything out overnight. We are planning to make the money tomorrow, if possible. But we should also take our time to do that whole hiring for value and training for skill. Every single person that comes into our organization doesn't have to be top in sense of experience, not top in terms of like mindset and ability to do work. We all want A players because you don't want anyone to come and sabotage your business. However, you want to hire people that don't even get it 100% because they haven't gotten it yet, but they have the potential to get it if you give them that opportunity. It also even helps with loyalty. They remember you as the company that gave them a chance when nobody else was going to, which helps with retention. So there's that. So besides ownership mindset and then hiring for potential, we can also reinvent our training tactics. I actually got this from an article, a Forbes article, and its focus was on not even on training like internally now. The training was more of seeing how you can catch them young. We are in Africa. Most of us here are probably in Nigeria. Some of us might have complained about not having the most optimal educational type of situation, right? Some people, maybe the university they've gone to or they've heard about, probably they don't feel like our training for the world of work as it is today. This is where we as employers, right? We don't just sit back and still wait for graduates to come and then we see if they have the skill. We need to now get ourselves in there. We already know that they're not going to be training maybe on AI or on some kind of programming language that we use in our organization. This is where we are reinventing our training tactics and going into these environments where we want to get these people from. Go in there, create a program, whether it's a mentorship program, whether it's a, internship situation, if it's a graduate training program, whatever it is, we create these things and equip these people with these skills that we know that will be needed in the future or needed in our organizations, right? So we equip them with these skills so that when the time comes to fill that position, we already have a ripe pool that we can easily take out of, and we're not at the point where we're saying there's a shortage of talent again. Where will we find, this talent? Woe is me. So it's important that we're able to do that. And I guess the last point that I will want to mention here is we shouldn't, traditionally or back in the day, what we're used to when we're trying to hire is paste the job online, right? Post it, whether it's Jobberman or career.ng or LinkedIn or wherever, we post it and hope that candidates will apply and we get, the best talent from there. But remember that you have talented people in your team. And it's one of those things where they say, show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. And some of those talented people know other talented people, right? So, let employees know that, you trust them well enough that they can, refer just as amazing people as they are, right? And at that point, they're even beginning to feel like, the fact that I have my friend here is creating the right type of vibe for me to work. And, I'm glad to be able to go with somebody that I know. So create that opportunity where employees can refer other talented people, and we're not just focusing on just blindly hiring and hoping that we get someone good in, and then the person probably doesn't even know what they're doing, and then we're back to square one. That's just a few things I can think of.
Thank you very much. You did justice to that. Also to add, it could be diversity hiring. So you could hire from various backgrounds. This could also reduce the shortage, because most of the time, like you said, when you post jobs or post openings on all these platforms, there's just a certain percentage of people that might visit those platforms. But you have to think outside the box. Where else can I get this talent from? Like you mentioned, the training, yes, it's also a method. Catch them when you go to the universities, get them, because I don't know if any school within our shores teaches AI or blockchain or e-commerce or UX or UI designing, or we just have the traditional jobs. But there's a lot of careers opening up in the future, and we have to prepare talent for those jobs that open up in the future. So once again, I just want to thank our sponsors, Raynest. You should check them out, www.raynest.com. Like I said, they help and ensure onboarding and payroll seamless. And also you could use them to process your statutory deductions and pay, like I said, for over 50 countries within Africa and outside Africa. So Titi, just I just get to know you a bit better. So currently, are you working remotely or you're working from the office?
I'm working from the office.
Okay, so which do you prefer? Or do you work remotely, if I may ask?
I do.
So which do you prefer more, working remotely, or you like the mix of both?
I do like a mix of both. However, I have a stronger preference for working from the office. I am a very face-to-face kind of person, right? It's one of those things, out of sight, out of mind type of something. It's not good. I'm working on it, but I would rather see you and have a conversation, because I'm that kind of person that can abandon my phone and just focus on whoever I'm like working with. And also for me, for my role as HR, for me, I think it's really important that I get to physically mix with the people. They get to put a face to the person that is supporting them. And also because HR has this bad rep, I think slowly we're trying to fix it. But that bad rep of HR person, evil, mean, person wants to fire you, person wants to do all these strict things to you. The fact that I can have that physical, interaction with employees, hopefully it lets them just be a bit more relaxed, a bit more trusting, and just better team members in general, because they know that, okay, they have this person that has their back, that they can put a face to, and it's not just behind a screen. That's for me, Sha.
Yeah, I totally understand. So this takes us to our next question, Titi. So what are the things you mentioned some of the things that can be done internally to mitigate the risks of this, but what are the things that can be done externally? You could also still buttress and all of this. What can, not just employers, even we as individuals, do externally and internally to mitigate the risks associated with this?
Externally, would be on my point on the training, right? Because these are not internal, these are not employees, right? If you were strictly internally, then besides the ownership mindset, you want to focus on your culture to see how you are making sure that it's an adaptable culture, the values you have, it's something that aligns with the individual, things like that would get them always enthusiastic about improving themselves and remaining talent within your organization. But when it comes to external, I mean, these are people that you didn't select, you didn't hand select, employees you selected, what they can do, they're doing that. But externally, you didn't hand select these people. random people, but you're hoping that eventually you can turn them into either brand ambassadors or even future employees. So my focus here would be, train, right? So try and do like training activities. Also try to engage with the audience, right? Both active and passive candidates. Engage with them, let them get to know you, let them get to know your brand, let them get to know your values. Even for talent too, because I remember back in the day when, currently I work at FairMoney, by the way, and I remember when we were trying to hire devs, when we decided we wanted to have devs in Nigeria. And if you go on my LinkedIn, I'm probably friends with almost all the devs in Nigeria, if not in Lagos. And I was like seriously chasing these guys. Really hot cake, really hot cake. I mean, a lot of them were also passive candidates. They were comfortable where they were not looking for the opportunities. But this is me coming as FairMoney. They're like, what? FairMoney? Like they were not familiar with the brand. And at least then, for us, we had not, aggressively penetrated the market, right? People knew us, the people that knew us are the people that utilize our services. But like random people who don't know us, who didn't use our services didn't know us. This is like Coca-Cola to me. I don't drink Coca-Cola, but I know Coca-Cola exists. Yeah, you are on mute so the person can hear you.
Can we check our mics, please? Someone is unmuted. Could you mute yourself?
Yeah. So I was talking about the brand Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola is every single where. Marketing is out of this world, I personally believe. It's super old, but even like little children know Coca-Cola. Unlike some brands that are even more recent, but then they stop marketing and everybody just forgets they exist. This is kind of, how much marketing can really do for a brand, how much engagement can do for a brand. So this is me chasing devs and they're thinking, who is FairMoney? What is FairMoney? I don't know. And I'm trying to beg them, literally, like, just give us a thought. We are good. We are building something amazing here. Join us, right? This is talent. But they were comfortable where they were. Their employer was doing something amazing. They were creating amazing products. They felt like they were part of the owners of what they were doing. And it was hard to convince them. There were some others that for them, even though they felt like they were the owners, they were ready for a new challenge. And it was easier to convince those guys to come over, right? So the advice here is just constantly engage, the audience, right? The external people, constantly engage them, whether you're engaging them about your brand or about what you do or about how you do it. This will spark interest amongst people that probably never even thought about doing something relating to what you're doing. They learn about it. Again, not again, because I didn't say this before. I studied chemistry, but I'm in HR now, right? Somewhere along the line, I decided to redirect my focus and get into HR, and I don't regret it one day. I am obsessed with this career that I have chosen, right? But something must have sparked my interest for me to get into this line. So same thing too, when you're engaging your audience, you're engaging them with what you do, you're selling what you do, you're educating them on, what it is, what it means, and you might spark some interest that, wasn't there before. Because of you, they now know about AI, they now know about robotics, they now know about crypto, whatever it is. They start doing more research, and before you know it, when you're hiring for a role that has sparked their interest, they are now readily available to take up a role within your organization. So engage not just your employees, but also like the external audience, not only selling your brand, but even how you do what you do, so that they can be interested to learn how to do that too. And then when you are ready to hire for that skill set, they have already started building themselves for that point.
That's really exciting. Thank you very much. There's a popular and widely accepted explanation that the discrepancies between the people that are available to do the work and the people that are needed to do the work is the skill sets required. So yes, so you can hear people say, oh, we have tons of people graduating every day. So why is it so hard to fill this position? Because the skill set required in each and every of this position right now are not the skill set that are taught in the 4 walls of the school. People need to develop interest in learning what is required for them to fill various positions right now. whether let's look outside of tech. It could be production, it could be engineering. I mean mechanical, not the software. It could be any of these, but you need some certain skills that would be able to make you marketable to fill these positions. Like you said, you came from chemistry to HR. Same as I didn't study HR in school. I studied building technology, but I got to get interested in HR, and I developed the skills needed for me to be to not just be, but to be able to sell myself to work in this line. And like I said, I do not regret it for one bit, but we learn every day. So this will take me to my next question. You've been in HR, you've worked in an HR capacity, and right now you're working in a very good organization, like you said. So what have you done? You mentioned something similar right now. You had to find yourself in a community of DevOps to be able to attract them. But what else have you done today, or what else can HRs do to attract these talents and also retain them? Because retainership is another battle on its own as well. You've mentioned the ownership mentality, I believe, at first, but could you just reiterate on some retainership strategy that we could do to retain this talent we've attracted? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Yetunde. I don't have a new any new thing to say in regards to what we can do to attract these people besides the engagement. I can't think of anything off the top of my head besides engage with the audience, engage with the wider audience. In regards to retention, you will not always have like 100%, there. People will still leave. Things happen, things, change. But some of those things that we can do when it comes to retention, at least from a little bit of experience. One, I would say, is create opportunities for growth. Let people see, what else is in it for them within the organization. Yes, they came here to serve you and serve a certain purpose, but if they feel like they're fulfilling that purpose and they're doing the same thing over and over, human beings, we want more. We want more regardless. So create that opportunity for growth. Let them see that there's more that they can do within the organization. There's more they can do within the business. There's other ways that they can support. Create this for them to see. Another thing is be flexible. A good number of organizations are embracing this. Some have still not embraced that. We here obviously have embraced that. We have flexible working arrangements. We're hybrid workers. We have employees on full remote, some who partial remote, some who come into the office every day. However, they have the opportunity to be, working remotely. Besides even that aspect too, in regards to working arrangement, I recently sent an offer letter to an employee, and the employee actually accepted it. But the hiring manager now sent me a message because I copied him in the mail. But before he saw the acceptance, he was like, "Oh, Titi, you didn't have to put 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. It's just, we just want the person to get the job done." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but when you're working with Nigerians, you kind of need to give them give them a block, right?" But I understood what he was trying to say, because one, I work in a global company, and we have different time zones amongst us. So what is 9 to 5 for me is not 9 to 5 for the guy in Australia, right? Or the guy in India. So really, me putting 9 to 5 and the person is going to be working with team members outside the country, it doesn't really pay. So in his case, I understood what he was trying to say: be flexible. Don't put this constraint, because even for devs, I've had a lot of devs tell me that they are more active working at night. Like their brain works faster.
For some people, sorry, Titi, for some people that don't understand what devs is, can you just say the full meaning of it?
Oh, sorry, software developers, right? So software engineers, software developers. Some of them have told me that they work better at night, like they are just night owls. When it's nighttime, their brain is moving faster. Morning, they're a bit sluggish. And not even just them, there are other people who are kind of like that too, where at night they have more energy, and during the daytime they feel a bit, down. So create a flexible working arrangement here, so that as long as you're able to do the work, right, and you're producing results, and this is the goal, you satisfy it, it's good enough. Because if other organizations are doing this and you are still stuck on your 8 to 6 or 8 to 7 or 8 to 4, and there's no flexibility at all, someone wants to leave, you tell them leave to attend to an emergency, you tell them no, not during work hours. They ask for the time off, you're like, nope, it's crunch time, no, you can't. Every single time there's a roadblock, they're going to go to another organization that is a bit more work-life integrated, right? So you want to retain your talent, you need to work on that flexibility. And for organizations where your team size keeps growing, there's some things you probably can't keep doing when it comes to engaging with employees. Richard will know this because we worked together before. Initially, when I did join FairMoney, the team was really small. And one of the things that I started doing on my end was to do one-on-ones with the team. So every quarter, I have a one-on-one with every single person on the team. Not because I'm jobless, but because I just wanted to have that personal relationship with them, get to know them better. The company was also young, so this is us building. And I wanted to make sure that we're building not just for the customer, but now based on the voice of the team. This is the team that would service the customer. So we need to make them comfortable. We need to make them motivated to be able to do a good job, right? So I was having these one-on-ones, but now we're like over 200. And I'm like, Titi, you can't come and give yourself. Plus, there's so much other tasks that I wasn't doing before that now I have to do, more higher level stuff that I have to do. So this is where, because I know alone I cannot handle it, I need the support of other people to make sure that our talent is staying within. How do I get the support? This is now working closely with managers, right? Some people are not built to be managers. They can do the job, they can tell you this is how you do it. But when it comes to like motivating people, coaching people, holding people's hands, understanding, listening to them, they're not really good at that. It's not their fault. This is why they're also not doing HR, right? They drive numbers. They know how to do that very well. But when it comes to, the emotional side, the empathy, they might not have strength there. So as HR, this is where we now support these managers, right? And say, hey, once in a while, can you just have this one-on-one with the team member? Can you just check up on the person? Can you do it this way? Can you engage your team? Once a month, once a quarter, you guys can do like a virtual party or a virtual games day or something. Just keep them in, just let them know that their contribution to the team and to the company is appreciated, right? It's appreciated, it is seen, and even encourage them to about growth opportunities when they are there, training opportunities, recommend it for them, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know, right? So these employees might not know that I can be doing more than this. So this is where you as a manager, you see these things and you now say, hey, I know that you can do more and I'm willing to, put this extra load on you. Right now, you think you can't take it, but trust me, over time, from what I've seen, I'm sure you can do it. But this is where we as HR will come in and say, hey, manager, I think you should try this out with your team. I mean, you're losing people all the time. Your team is doing absolutely amazing well, but you need to engage your team members from a departmental standpoint and not just HR doing it from a company, wide standpoint. We can't hear you, Yetunde.
Okay, I usually forget to unmute myself. Thank you very much, Titi. You've really done justice to this topic. If you have any questions, we can raise up our hands, so we could drop it in the comment section, or the chat box rather, to be attended to. Once again, I would like to recognize our sponsors right next. Like I said, you could check them out, www.raenes.com. And there's some discount for people that are interested in using them as well. So we'll be rounding up shortly. I would like you all to get back to your work, as we believe most of you took out time to attend to this, and we truly appreciate it. Thank you. So a little bit of an icebreaker here, Titi. If you were to write an autobiography, what would be the title?
Okay, this is what comes to mind first. I came, I saw, I kicked ass.
Nice.
That would be my title. It's a long title, but I think it captures, my hustle very well.
That's really nice. So this is taking us for our last question, Titi. So you have looked for talent, you have found talent, you've developed talent. So what would be your take home to everyone on this webinar for those that, let's look at first, those that are yet to, we probably have some undergrad here, and we also have some early startups, people that are early in their career, and also people that have advanced in their career. So what would you advise them to do that they could reduce this scarcity in talent, or for them also to be placed in places that they could they could be good talents? Thank you.
Okay. Advice is pay attention to what's happening out there. Sorry, Stephen. Pay attention to what's happening. In regards to the labor market, pay attention to what's happening. Read and understand job descriptions better. Don't just apply to everything you see, because you doing that, you don't actually know what the role entails, and you don't know what skills you need to be developing. I recently put up a job ad about looking for a compensation personnel, and I have a lot of people like in the comment section saying I'm interested, and I'm looking for facility manager here, business something there, salesperson there. And I'm just thinking, did you even check the job description? Because even if I wanted to give you an opportunity, you will come in and you will clearly fail, right? Because me that has been doing this for a while now, it's a struggle to make sure I don't make mistakes and do these things. So I get the nitty gritty that should be in this role, and this is why I have put it in the job description. Now, you having zero experience on it doesn't mean you should come and say you want to do the job, because if I give it to you, you will now keep thinking there's either something wrong with me, or why am I a failure in this world? You are not a failure. You just didn't pay attention. So advice here is pay attention, pay close attention to, to the labor market, pay close attention to job ads that you see, understand the description. You don't get it, ask somebody. What does this really mean? What does it mean, when they say you need to have skills in SQL or skills in Excel? That person might be able to shed more light to you, saying how skills in Excel is important for this role because you'll be doing a lot of calculations, right? Not just because they want you to have it on your resume, but because the actual job requires you to do it. And then you now come and say, okay, I don't have this, and I don't have any person ready to hire me without this skill. And then you now make friends with Google. Yes, Google is everybody's friend. Google does not discriminate. Google is not biased. You go on Google and you do your research, what is SQL? And there's a lot of free tools and free resources out there that you can utilize. So stop sitting down waiting for a job to come to you. Instead, go out there and look for the opportunities that are there. You are not ready for it. It's okay. Start becoming ready for it. Pay attention to those keywords that they've put on the JD. Google what they are and start learning about them. Once you start learning about them, find ways to put it into practice. There's a lot of people looking for free hire, right? You're a graduate, you're expecting 200K, but somebody's looking for an accountant to come and do 50K. It doesn't match up to what you want. I agree, but it's an opportunity to build yourself to what you want, right? So take advantage of that opportunity just so you can practice the Excel you've been reading about on YouTube and Google. Take advantage of opportunity, preferably not something that you have to travel far away to. So don't live in Ikorodu and be going to Banana Island for this 50K opportunity. Look for something close by to put it into practice. You're servicing the employer that needs, a smart person to do the job, while you're also using that as an opportunity to build yourself. Slowly build yourself in that regard and start looking, and don't stop looking at all these opportunities that you've been eyeing and been interested in. Don't get comfortable. You keep looking at those opportunities, you keep seeing, what the requirements are, and see how you can put it again into practice, into what you are doing. Keep doing that. Let it be a continuous cycle up until that real job, that real role that you're looking for becomes available, and you are now finally ready to take it up.
Thank you. Just to add to that too. So we all have passion, we might all have skill sets, we might all have things we we want to do. But at the time, yes, we do not have the experience to do it. Like you said, make Google your friend. There are lots of free courses online. There are lots of organizations that are actually willing to intern people, move from one certain a career switch, whatever career or level you find yourself in, you can switch careers to learn new skills. And the world is forever evolving. So you have to understand, you have to check, research what skill sets are needed in the next 5 years, what area of specialty will be needed in the next 5 years, what area, what sector will be very more relevant in the next 5 years. Who would have thought blockchain would be this relevant right now? But it's a provider of opportunities for a lot. And there's a lot of things going around in that ecosystem. Now, with what COVID did, it brought about a lot of opportunities. E-commerce has blown up. The tech space we can't get enough of the tech space actually. But there's a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of skill sets you could develop yourself in that'll make you relevant in today's market. So want to say thank you very much, Titi. You've done justice to this. We have some questions in the comment section, of which I could just be taking you through. So we have a question from Temitope. So she asked, he asked, I wouldn't know what gender this is. Sorry for that. From a HR standpoint, what makes an employee a talent? And how would you help your employee to become a top talent in a chosen career?
Okay, so what makes an employee a talent is the fact that there is a job and they're able to fulfill the job to the team, right? So this person we will consider a talent. So even if it is a role as popular as customer support, there are talents within customer support. There are certain skill sets that we would, or most people will require of every customer support representative, right? You want them to have effective communication skills. They need to be able to speak very well to your customers, right? And keep them happy, keep them motivated. So someone who's really good with communicating, someone is irate and you're able to communicate, yes, they're upset, you yourself, you're not getting upset. So even emotional intelligence now becomes another very important skill that the person needs to be able to have. The person is yelling at you, not because they're angry with you, but it has something to do with that service. So it's not personal. You don't take it personal. You know how to not take it personal. You are persuasive. You have good persuasion skills. You're able to persuade them into understanding the reason why this is happening, or paying back something else that they should pay back, or returning something. You're having all of these skills. Automatically, you're a talent in that department. Like your manager will recognize you as, everybody be like so and so. So really what makes you a talent is you having the skill set to the T of whatever the role requires. And then the question was, how would you help employees to become a top
talent? Yes, in their chosen career.
So this is where I rely closely on managers, right? Because HR cannot see everything all the time. HR can prefer trainings, right? But then we can prefer trainings that might not even tackle exactly what will help that person become top. So managers that have this one-on-one relationship and know your strengths and weaknesses better than HR are in a better position to make that recommendation and say, hey, while you're good with, speaking English, you're not very good with, persuading or negotiating or even showing some amount of emotional intelligence. Make the recommendation to HR. HR now sees how we can do this across board or focus on that particular person, help the person to grow. And from that person would, be able to grow into like a more senior role, because now you are emotionally intelligent. You can actually hold the hands of other, colleagues or subordinates. You use that one to grow and to do whatever it is you want to do. But really here, it really lies within the manager's scope, for understanding your team member. And also employees also need to learn to be vocal, right? You are giving to the employer just as much as, they want to give back to you. So it's important you're able to communicate that this is where I have an interest in, whether it stays in customer support or you want to move into dev, and you see how you can get into dev. I have an employee right now, he's in the collections team, and he came to me and said, hey, I'm actually interested in product design. Is there any vacancy? So I'll be honest with you, there's no vacancy for any entry-level product designer, right? However, the head of product design is visiting Nigeria soon. I advise you to get to know him, get to gist with him, get to talk to him. He might not hire you, but he would probably start sharing some courses with you, some work that he can throw away with you. It starts building you up, right? So that when they're ready to hire like an intern or even a junior something, even the little work he's been giving you, he's seen how you are improving over time. He's like, you know what? I would like to work with this guy because he's built his skill sets. That's 1, 2, and he's someone I can actually relate with. Right? He's not a bad guy. So speak with manager, and HR will just support as best as they can. But as an employee, you have to be vocal. If he never told me he was interested in design, I would never tell him to speak with this manager, and he won't be where he is today, about to be a product design G.
About to be, that's nice. So we have someone that is interested in the compensation and benefit role you spoke about earlier.
Oh, really?
I do not know if you filled the position yet.
I have not filled it. Ikena,
Okay.
I see the comment. There's actually a career portal. I would rather take all applications through the career portal.
Okay. You could go fill the position in the career portal. So we have another question here. What's your advice for someone who wants to change career paths? Osemudiame, I would have loved if you had mentioned what career you want to move to or what career you're in. But generally, what's your advice?
Advice. I mean, like you said, you wish you knew what he wanted to. So this is why it's hard for me to really talk. I speak with a lot of people that they're doing what they're not comfortable doing, right? But when you ask them, what do you want to do? Just say anything. It's really hard to help an anything kind of candidate because it's hard to satisfy those people. You give them something else, they find out it's not working. In my HR struggle, it's not always been easy. Even now, I still have some days I'm like, why? But I know in the beginning it was really, really tough. But I stuck through it because this is what I wanted to do. So it was easier. In this case, if you knew what you wanted to do, or if you know what you want to do, advice is read up on it. I did a lot of reading. My first go-to is not usually certification. I know some people go that route. I only got my CIPM last year, 2021, and I've been doing HR for over 8 years. So this is me, personal story. Might be different from you, but even though I didn't have that certification till last year, I had a lot of knowledge because I did a lot of reading. So do a lot of reading, going back to Google and YouTube, research these things, see what it entails, whatever the new career you want to go into, what it entails, what is required of you, so you know how to develop yourself. Talk to people that are in this space. The world is everything in the world is so closer now. Like you don't literally have to walk to someone's house or take a bus to have a conversation with them. There's so many WhatsApp groups that all these people before that, you only see them on websites. You now have them in your WhatsApp group, right? You see them on LinkedIn. You can reach out to them on LinkedIn. Like this era, these people of this generation, you people don't know how lucky you are. I mean, so much access. So, reach out to these people, see whatever advice you can get. Don't bombard them though, because you need to understand they also have their own life, they have their journey, they have their struggles. So don't be too demanding. So send a message while you're waiting 2 weeks for feedback, do your research, keep building yourself. Feedback comes in and then you can do the banter. But it's still impossible to it is still possible to change career paths and succeed in it. You just need to, one, identify what it is that you want to do, figure out where your strengths lie so that you know where you want to pursue, and then start doing a lot of research and reading up on it. And then when you get the opportunity to be able to practice it, even if it is at home, even if it's with your auntie or your neighbor or, mama, something, do that. Everything counts. Every experience counts.
Thank you. Well, we'll be rounding up. Sorry, I couldn't take all your questions, so I'll just take one last question, which is also from Ekene. How is FairMoney as an organization contributing to Africans' pool? And are there initiatives in place to train younger generations?
Okay, initiatives to train the younger generations. We have recently started that up. In the past, our focus was on at least putting a bit of stability within the company. So our focus, yes, was hiring experienced people. at least to help with the structure. Now that we have a good number of that, it's easier for us to now start getting like the younger generation, so we can start building them up. So we started doing that, and we have a lot of junior roles that people fresh out of school or with little experience can come in and do, and then we train you along the way. We also started hiring interns. So we have interns with like zero experience, zero. Maybe the only experience they had was IT. However, they have the basic skill sets that we need in this 21st century world of work. So do you know how to use a computer? Yes, because no one is going to start training you how to use a computer. So already you need to come prepared if you want to come to FairMoney. I'll be honest with you. You can come with not that much knowledge, but the basic things that everyone in this day and age should know. Even my kids know how to press computer, right? And they're never up to 5. You need to know how to at least use a computer, maybe even as far as knowing what Word, Excel, PowerPoint are. You might not be very good with it. Our interns right now, some of them, they've heard of Excel, they didn't get to use it, but now they're using it, it's making sense. So obviously be trainable. But yes, we have that initiative, and we are slowly building a structure around it so that this can be like a round-the-clock thing we'll do. But there is no round-the-clock yet. This is just more of we're seeing how it goes, and then we can see how we can make it a lasting initiative.
Thank you very much, Titi. We're running out of time, so want everyone to have a virtual round of applause for Titi, for she has done a great job with this topic. A virtual round of applause. Thank you very much. Once again, we'd like to say thank you to Rainest for having this opportunity. This webinar is thanks to them. I really appreciate everyone that took out their time to join us. Thank you very much. We hope that you all had an insightful time here. Once again, we could check out Rainest's website. The company Rainest is an HR payroll solution that can be used across 50 currencies and countries. And Rainest can be used to onboard, pay for payroll, taxes, pension, and also salary advance and more. You should all check out their website. We'll drop it in the comment section for you all if we don't have any more questions. Thank you very much all once again. I could see some people are still in the comment section. We could still keep this on for about 5 minutes if we still have some things to drop. I see a lot of people are interested in this position.
Is that why you joined the call? That's my own question now.
You can have the
positions that you're interested in.
No, you mentioned the payroll position, and this is somebody else again showing interest in it. As well, thank you all very much for your time. This webinar will be shared across various platforms of Rainest. You could also follow them on LinkedIn, and I could also follow Titi on LinkedIn as well. She's a top voice on LinkedIn. And you could also follow me as well. Thank you very much all. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.